Hello and welcome to another one of my videos back on the channel. Today we are going to be talking about the PvZ rework and my top 5 hopes for it. So yeah, recently we found out that PvZ 3 was going to be taken down from the beta testing and it was going to be having a rework. The developers were going to go into it and listen to community feedback and change things. Now, you've got to take this all with a bit of consideration because we don't know how much they are reworking the game. They just kind of said that we're going to take community feedback into consideration and rework it. So they could be starting entirely from scratch, or they could just be editing what they've already got. So yeah, and these are also my hopes. So your hopes are probably different to mine. Like I know some of you do and enjoy how the state that PvZ 3 is in right now. You like how it is. I'm not a huge fan of it personally, but yeah. So some of you might disagree with my hopes, but if so, just put your hopes in the comments below and I will read them. So with that, we'll get started with hope number 1. Now this is one I feel like everyone would agree with me when I say this: less microtransactions. So there is a shop in this game. I also haven't actually played this game myself. This is all knowledge I've seen from like YouTubers playing it, so yeah, take that into consideration as well. I haven't actually played it myself, but you know, I can still watch YouTube videos on it and everything. So there is a shop, as you can see, a daily deals here. You can get coins, gems, and bottle caps. I'm pretty sure they are. The bottle caps are what you get from doing like club things, because you can make community clubs and things. I don't know too much about them, but that's all I know about them. So yeah, you can buy like seed packets for coins, and then you can also buy them for gems. And there's also like You can buy gems pretty much and buy coins just as you can in PvZ 2. There's also this pinata system where you can buy these pinatas and you can buy premium pinatas which give you better stuff, and then you can also get this star tree thing and you can buy premium with that. I don't really know what this star tree does, I just saw it and I saw premium and free, so I kind of added it here. So I'm not saying that the other PvZ games don't have microtransactions. You know, PvZ 2 does have a lot. It pretty much is pay to win, like if you think about it. I just don't want this game to follow in its footsteps of having that many microtransactions. Like, I've heard that there was a battle pass and originally it was free, but then they made it premium, so you had to pay for it. And yeah, they really need to make it so there's less microtransaction. Maybe make it so we just buy the game for like £5 or something, or I don't know how many dollars that is, $6 or something, and then, you know, we don't get as many microtransactions, because in most games which you buy them, there are less microtransactions within them. So yeah, if it's a free game, obviously there's going to be more microtransactions because they're going to need to earn their money somehow. You know, they're not going to earn much money from an entirely free game, so yeah, I just hope that they sort out the microtransactions and, you know, make less of them, or make them cheaper, or make the entire game cost money and then just put less in. Something like that. And so hope number 2, this one is quite far-fetched, and it is to have a 2D design instead of 3D design. So I don't hate the 3D design, you know, like, it's not my biggest issue with the game, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I know quite a few people do like the 3D design, and, you know, fair to them. Like, it does look alright. It's just not PvZ, especially the tower defense ones. It doesn't really capture the PvZ-esque that the other two games have. So, again, this one I feel is probably the least likely to happen, unless they were to start the game entirely from scratch, then they might do this, but I doubt that we're going to get a rework of the like actual visual design, because, you know, having to go through and change every single look and UI and model to just be 2D, you know, it would take a lot of work. Like, you know, you can see that this game was meant to be 3D. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it being 3D, but I don't really mind it that much either. So yeah, there's not really much else to talk about this other than I'd like it to be 2D, but most likely it won't happen. So yeah, I think a few of you will probably disagree with me on this one, but that's just my thoughts. So this one, again, I feel like quite a lot of you will agree with me when saying that we need proper sunflowers and multiple sun producers. So at the moment, in PvZ 3, you get this little sunflower sitting in the corner of your screen, and you have this bar that goes up, and then you get one sun. And then it goes up, then you get another sun, and it goes up, and you get another sun. And I think you can speed it up or do certain stuff with that. But you know, I would rather actually be able to place the sunflowers. It adds more tactics into it. It just makes it more nicer instead of just a steady income. You know, you just have to, you know, because if you place more sunflowers, you get more sun quicker. If you place less, you get it slower. But in this case, you just get it at a steady rate. So it just takes away all like the tactics from it. And then having multiple sun producers, you know, they don't all have to be sunflowers. You know, we could have a mushroom. We could have, I'm not actually really sure what this plant is, but I know it's called sunbloom. Then we could have another mushroom. We could have moonflower. You know, we could have all these different sun producers instead of just this one sunflower sitting in the corner, giving you every so much sun, like every 2 seconds or something. It just makes the game feel a lot more involved when you actually have to place your sun producers. It feels more like you're in control of the situation, where here you're just getting sun. You could just sit there and do nothing and you'd get sun. It's, yeah, so I'm not a huge fan at all of like this sunflower production method. You know, I'd rather it be like this, where you actually have to place the sunflowers. You can get different sun producers which have different stats. You know, this one gives you less sun, but then as it grows bigger, it gives you more sun. This gives you a short outburst of sun, but takes a long time to recharge. This works well with other moonflowers and gives you more sun. And this eats zombies and gives you sun. You know, it's just, instead of just having this one thing giving you sun. So yeah, I feel we need proper sunflowers and multiple sun producers. Now, this is something I feel like they can change, because like the model for sunflower is here. They just need to make it placeable. So hopefully this is something they do look at. Now, another one is landscape, not portrait. So as you can tell, PvZ 3 is portrait. The reason they probably did this is to make it easier to play, so you can just play it with one hand. But I just prefer it being landscape, you know, because if they made it landscape, they could possibly pull it onto like computers or maybe consoles or something. But having it portrait, it's just a lot more fiddly, like trying to get your fingers to press on the icons, and I don't know, it just makes the actual level so much smaller in comparison to the rest of the screen. Like this just works so nicely. You'd have the seed packets at the top or on the side, and then you just have, you know, the majority of the screen being taken up by the actual level, where in this case, you know, the majority of the screen is actually just by all this useless things that don't need to be there. Like, they just make it so bulky. Like, what is all this space up here doing when they could just make the level bigger or stretch it up or something? So yeah, I feel like making it portrait wasn't, I see why they did it, it just wasn't a very good idea. They tried to make it more accessible, but it's just, this is just more PvZ. They're changing things that we didn't ask for, just like for BFN. You know, I'm not saying BFN, everything that they changed was bad, but like, it was such a big step from the Garden Warfare games, which probably led to its downfall. So, you know, and the same's happening for PvZ 3. We've seen the feedback that this has been getting, and it's probably because it's taking too big of a step. You know, the difference between PvZ 2 and PvZ 1, there's quite a big difference, but at the same time you can see the similarities. Like right here, you can see these two levels are very similar, but you know, they're just different in their own unique way. So they're changing too much about the game too quickly, that's what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I'd rather it be landscape than portrait. So the final hope is for there to be a less need for grinding. So when I've seen YouTube videos of PvZ 3, I've noticed that you have to go back on yourself and replay levels a lot in order to actually be able to progress. Like, you go into this Devour Tower, which is this giant thing here, and there's like so many levels, and between each level I think the difficulty increases by 50. As you can see here, it goes 650 to 700, and you have your team power and zombie power. And like in this scenario right here, they have 410 to 600. You know, these plants are underpowered compared to the zombies, so what would they need to do? They need to go to the levels, and then they just need to replay them until the plants have leveled up enough for them to actually get a high enough team power. So in order, like, they basically have to grind. And the levels, they're not even that unique, they're not diverse. You don't have special levels in PvZ 2 where you need to like defend the endangered plants or don't let the zombies trample the flowers. You just have these levels where there's a zombie. So you have all these different locations, as you can see here. You press on them and then there are zombies. You press on the zombies and then you like fight off a horde, and then the zombies reappear. You press on them, you fight off a horde. There's nothing special. Sure, there's like boss battles and everything, but you know, it's just there's not even proper levels. You just go into like one of these areas and click on a zombie and then you fight it. You know, and you just have to keep on doing that until you get high enough team power in order to get to the next stage where you're still underpowered. So then you have to do more grinding. And especially if you're getting seed packets, you have to do so much grinding. Like in PvZ 1 and 2, it's not a case of you're underpowered, it's just a case you need to use the right strategy. In this case, it's just your plants are too underpowered, so, you know, go back and grind so that you can get them a higher level. And this is another annoying thing. Like, I don't like sitting and just repeating the same thing over and over and over again in games. I like there to be an aspect of replayability. But in this case, there isn't. So, yeah. I feel like that is something this is something they definitely need to fix, like, drastically. But yeah, so those were my 5 hopes for the PvZ 3 rework. What are your hopes? You know, leave them in the comments and I will look at them and reply. So yeah, I will do more gameplay videos. I haven't done an actual PvZ gameplay video in a while, so I will do one of those soon. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next time. Bye!